On your screen right now is Gearbox Software's hit 2025 video game known as Borderlands 4. This is a game from a series that I have never played until now. As long as you don't count the time that I played Borderlands 2 at 13 years old. And then there was that other time where I tried to play it again about 6 years ago. Don't worry, I only put about 2.5 hours in according to Steam. At best I hit like level 5 or something. If it tells you anything else about me, my favorite gun in Borderlands 2 was the Bane, so if you know, you know. I think that makes it clear that I'm just a pretty big fan of the series, man. I've been a longtime fan forever. So when I heard they were dropping a fourth one, you know I had to get in on the action. When I began my journey, I streamed some of it here on the channel. I was trying to play Borderlands the old-fashioned way as much as possible. I tried to go in blind, no prep work, no spoilers, just straight up raw dog it like we used to do back in the day. I did receive some small amount of help from expert chatters while I was playing, and I also got some hands-on assistance from my good friend and professional Borderlands grinder, Willie Pete.
God, I hate this guy. Can't believe you'd ever join my call.
You can hear now.
That's the absolute word. Oh, hey, what's up?
My understanding of Borderlands before actually getting into it was that you just beat up on the bosses until you have an insane collection of loot to build around, and then those builds will allow you to kill bosses even faster or take on even higher difficulties. Or maybe maybe the loot collection is just a big flex. That's kind of what it is for me. That didn't always sound appealing to a beast like me. I love loot. Okay, I always have. Thank you, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper mentioned. And I love boss fights too. Who doesn't? That's why I play video games. Only recently did I become a fan of gambling. I'm too responsible to spend too much real money on gambling, but I really like flicking the lever and seeing the pretty colors. So once you've combined all three of those factors, it's like making the vault key to unlock the enjoyment of Borderlands Vault. So what does it take for a beast like me who knows nothing about nothing? A guy who is a complete noob, a brand new player, to get to level 50. What can I accomplish in about 50 hours of Borderlands 4? I didn't come here for the story, so I hope you didn't come for the story either, but the basic rundown is that we're on a planet called Kairos. Recently, Kairos had a bit of a calamity with its moon, and it's all purple and shit. And this calamity caused at least 4 Vault Hunters to come running. These 4 Vault Hunters are going to face many foes along the way, and you get to play as at least one of them at any given moment. Between Vex, Amon, Rafa, and Harlow, I chose Vex because she's just like me for real. Little did I know the ripple effect this would have on my initial experience with the game. But there are a couple of major factions that stand in the way of the Vault Hunters in their quest to hunt vaults. One of them is the Order. They're led by the Timekeeper. He captures our Vault Hunters pretty soon after they show up and straps like a Elon Musk-ass chip to the back of your dome. The Timekeeper calls them bolts. Using these bolts, he can take control of anyone who has one of the bolts in the back of their noggin. The other major faction is the Rippers, classic Borderlands psychos and barbarians and gearheads that have gone crazy after getting that bolt ripped out of their spinal cavity. They say in the game, if you don't die after taking out the bolt, you definitely go crazy, and the Rippers are definitely that second one. Besides those two, the wildlife on Kairos is insane. They got all types of beasts and mutants and messed up creatures that are all trying to turn you into bacon. It's up to you, and eventually the Crimson Resistance, to try and get between all of these opposing forces. Okay, sick. I think that's everyone I could have mentioned so far. So, the game lets you loose with some broke boy pistol, no skills, no jetpack, no job, no money, no bitches, you got nothing. And then you got a dude named RJ trying to help you break out of the clink. So now you're a felon too in the eyes of the law. Can't get anything right now. So you mow down a bunch of the Order's foot soldiers to try to stop you from heading out. And about halfway through the level, RJ gives you a grappling hook, which will be 1/2 of the movement in this game. You can only use it on contextual points that they've predetermined for you, but the devs were not shy about putting grapple points all over the place. One of the first loot chests that they give you ends up sliding a Jacob's pistol my way, and once I saw that fan the hammer animation on the hipfire, I knew Jacobs would be a great manufacturer to look out for. And that was before I realized that Jacob's weapons ricochet damage between enemies when you land crits. It's easily one of the most satisfying things in this game. One of my favorite things about Borderlands after the 50 hours I've played so far is that every kill matters, man. At first, you just get XP gains. While small, they still add up over large groups of enemies that you knock down over time. Kills with different weapon types and different actions also nets you challenge progress, which rewards you with cash and some shit we call iridium. I don't know what that does. And of course, more XP. XP is good because that's how we hit level 50. But then as your levels keep climbing, any one of these shrimps can produce a drop for you. We aren't even at any of the badasses and named mini bosses and real bosses that just shower loot on you. I'm getting ahead of myself, but at level 1, all loot is good loot so far. But I was saying that a little bit early because my first boss fight was already getting me into purples that I would use for a pretty long time.
I did it! I killed him! Oh! That's loot! Holy cow.
Like, for example, this atomic blossoming impact grenade that does electric damage was a staple in my gameplay for at least 15 levels after this. But at this point, the very start of my gaming, I didn't know shit about shit. So I was just equipping whatever told me it had the highest DPS number. Don't worry, I get a grasp on what each weapon roll feels like and what every weapon is capable of, especially later on. So just hold your horses, okay? Sit with me. But that is level 1 down. I'm now a level 2, and I have a skill point. This was probably the most overwhelming part for me, not only to look at, but to keep track of and manage like synergies and stuff. But when I say I ended up stumbling my way into an insane build, just keep watching, of course. You can tell though, I had no idea what the F I was doing because even though I tried my best to read everything, I didn't actually end up equipping my action skill. My ass just didn't know. I ended up putting my first skill point down the green incarnate tree, and it was on the grave sites node because I saw plus crit damage on kill. I do be going for crits. So the mission ends, RJ dies, and you swipe his drone that is able to jam the bolt to prevent the timekeeper from putting you in the cuck chair anymore, and you immediately run into Claptrap. Low-key, I definitely forgot about this guy because he kind of doesn't come back into the narrative after the tutorial part is over, but he leads us right into another fight, this time against those rippers. I gotta try out my new grenade, immediately causing me to down myself, and then I immediately revived myself with the grenade.
Oh, I'm dead. Oh, we're in it. We're back in it. We're good.
But that fight got me to level 3, which allowed me to stick another skill point, this time onto Leeching Attunement. I was already using kinetic weapons, so why not throw 2% lifesteal in there? I still didn't know I had to equip my action skill, though. In games like this, I have a pretty bad habit of ignoring the main quest, and instead I kill every single enemy on the way to an area, or I get sidetracked by markers on the compass, or red dots on the minimap, and then it makes me forget what I was even doing. But when I finally got back on track, a couple more Ripper kills boosted me to level 4. Leveled up, to which I stuck another point onto grave sites, just because I didn't really feel like reading the rest of the skills. The mission I was on had me take on my second boss, the Splash Zone. I look like a dumbass out there, man. Just look at this guy's gameplay, man. Not even an action skill equipped still. But dropping Splash Zone allowed us to loot his key, which opens a chest that has our other movement tool, the Glide Pack. This baby can do anything. Dash left, dash right, dash back, dash forward in the air, glide through the air, suck you off, pay your taxes. This thing definitely made it fun to move around the world for the most part, especially when you learn some pretty cool, sick tech, like double jumping quickly out of an air dash will carry the full momentum of the dash instead of short stopping you like other dashes do. Only a few would understand something as big brain as that. I then had to work with Claptrap to set up our first base of operations to then start the resistance against the Timekeeper and his forces. And the completion XP for that quest bumped me up to level 5.
Level 5.
I also learned about SDUs or SDUs, which is basically a system that rewards you for doing worldly objectives like unlocking fast travel points and also rounding up collectibles. The SDU points can be spent on increasing things like your ammo reserves for each weapon type, the size of your backpack, and your loot storage bank device for when you get to the collecting part of the loot. It's a pretty cool system, but I have heard reports that these do not carry over between new characters, and that is a bit of a bummer. But who knows if I'll ever play anyone outside of Vex anyway. I then put my skill point into Guns and Needles. Early on it felt like I was in need of health more often than anything else, so I figured that would be a good place to start. Also, I still didn't equip my action skill. But hitting level 5 does unlock the 3rd weapon slot, which I also did not realize yet. While walking around the world, I ended up completing one of those contracts that you can grab at most fast travel points. This one had me collect some items off of some of the wildlife enemies, and turns out these contracts are goated for XP and are heavily utilized by me later on. That got me real close to level 6, which a few more Ripper kills would push it over the edge. And now we've hit the moment you've all been waiting for. I equipped my action skill. Yes, dude.
Dude, when do I get this? There's gonna be you're supposed to be assigned to the augments, and capstones can only be equipped when the action skill from the associated tree is active.
Dude, I'm so dumb. I put another point into Guns and Needles, and that unlocked my first action skill, Augment, which adds extra effects to your action skill. Finally, I was starting to look like I kind of knew what I was doing, man. That only took me 1 hour and a half to even start using something fundamental to playing the game. You know what I mean? I kept on doing some of those contracts. This one was a bounty, where killing a high value target net me a lot of XP, which would just leave me a few dozen kills away from another level up. Level 7 skill point was spent on a perk called Bloodletter. Little known to me at the time, Bloodletter is a perk that drive Vex stocks to the moon. Right now, this is like Bitcoin in 2009. We're gonna put like $5 in it. We're not gonna think anything of it. We're gonna circle back around to it in like 15 years or whatever. I then did this really long bounty on the way to level 8 where you have to like retrieve some kind of item and like deposit it into this thing at a safe house, but you can't just like drive it back because you'll drop it on the floor. You can't fast travel with it because it'll just respawn. You gotta really hoof it. You gotta leg it. This shit can take way longer than any of the other contracts for the exact same XP values, sometimes worse XP values, and for that fact alone, 1.3 seconds, I'm out. So I wound up doing a side quest that shoved some enemies in my face, which resulted in enough XP gains to hit level 8. And I decided to put another point into Bloodletter. This unlocks your 4th weapon slot as well, further expanding the build crafting possibilities. So then I finished a main mission that allowed the Crimson Resistance to expand its influence by defending a nearby settlement from the forces of the Order. That, plus some exploring, got me real close to level 9.
Level 9.
Like, whoa.
I think I thought I was being clever here by putting a point into Volatile Essence. That perk increases splash damage, and I was currently running a Torg shotgun at the time, and I previously ran some Torg sidearms that I liked as well. So looking back, that 4% increase really ain't shit, but I did think I was smart. And I think this is also an indicator of me starting to pick up on the type of weapon that I like and what kind of attributes that come with said weapons. So like I was thinking Torg means explosive, so splash explosion, 4% damage means 4% damage on Torg. You know, you get it, right? Then I fought this boss named Horus. I didn't get anything good. It's just part of the gamble, man. You can't win them all. But I kept following orders and knocking down enemies along the way, and I finally hit level 10. I also experienced my first in-game death after downing myself with my own bombs, and I couldn't find an enemy to kill.
Not like this. Is this how I go out? Is this how I go?
So I put another point into volatile essence, basically running on autopilot. I don't know, I eventually get rid of this, but whatever. I completed the story mission I was on, and that chunked some XP into my bar, and then I think I started doing a side mission for this guy named Mort, because I happened to be passing by. It's one where you go into a cave full of threshers and you kill a bunch of them, and in the process, it got me to level 11. I put one more point into volatile essence because I am still using Torg weapons, and I went about my day. I then did a patrol mission because I was tired of it sitting on my screen for that long. It was getting annoying. And then I continued up my story mission until I had to hop off for the day. Alright, so day 1. What did we learn? Well, I learned that in order to use an action skill, you actually have to put it on. I also learned that I like Torg weapons, especially the shotguns, and I think I learned that there are just so many kinetic weapons in this game, hence why I thought it was a good idea to build in skills that relate to kinetic weapons. Wow, aren't I so smart? Look at me go. The next time I logged in, Willie Pete was there to join me.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I should say I joined him, because I felt like it wouldn't be right if I made him skip a bunch of the story to come play on my game completely unprepared. Even though the game does scale your levels and everything, starting from the beginning seemed like the polite thing to do. Aren't I such a nice guy? Wow. One of the first game-changing things Willie suggested I do is start playing on hard mode.
And we're getting fried over there.
Damn.
See, bro, I didn't die until like my 3rd mission, man.
Yeah. I put it on hard as well, you know?
Oh, some extra XP.
Yeah. More cash. Better loot quality.
Up to this point, I was like normal only, but that sounds appealing to a beast like me. It was a bit of an adjustment, but it's nothing a guy like me couldn't handle. During our play session, I hit level 12. This is where I started putting points into target prescience. Having the chance to deal crit damage by shooting any part of an enemy rather than their specific weak point seems ingenious when paired with the crit has a chance to bleed skill that I took earlier. That's Bloodletter. Now it's like a 2010 Bitcoin, using the analogy. So I hit level 13 next, adding another point to target prescience. At level 14, I slapped a 3rd point into target prescience, and believe it or not, I got the last bit of XP I needed to bang out to level 15, and dropped a 4th point into none other than target prescience, and I called it a good day well spent on Borderlands.
I'm gonna go to bed is what I'm gonna do.
Might be bedtime. Well, have a good night. Thanks for the games.
So after day 2, what we learn? Well, we learned that hard mode is good, and brother, I like to stay hard. When I came back, it was Willie who never logged off. He surpassed me in the story, and he caught up to me at level 15 as well, and he taught me a bit about the Moxie fight encore things, which is exactly what I needed in a loot game. I cannot praise the Moxie encore system enough.
But in this game now, like, there's bosses that spawn, like, in certain areas of the map, and there's a little, like, Moxie sign outside of their boss arena where you can go back and restart the fight. So you don't even need to, like, save quit and run back to the area. You can just pay, like, it's like 7K for me, but that's, like, nothing because I have, like, 250,000 right now already.
The first enemy we fought was an elevator, dropping me through the floor.
I'm rambling a bit, aren't I? Let's leave it there for now, yeah. I'll see you soon.
What? Where the fuck I am?
Are you stuck under the...
I don't know what just happened. Okay. I'm under the elevator, I think, that you wrote up.
And then we discovered that you can fast travel to your co-op partner, which is awesome. I cannot praise the fast travel to co-op partner system enough.
Wait, I can fast travel to you.
Oh, you can?
Apparently.
Oh, hey!
That's awesome.
What's up?
At this point, Willie was maybe like a mission or two ahead of me. Not a big deal. I never really cared about the story to begin with, so we continued some story stuff, some side quests. We also did some open world events and tasks that we would run into along the way.
Jump into the black hole.
The answer is no. The answer is a resounding no.
I thought, okay, it actually killed me. I thought it was like a teleporter at first. I was like, maybe I'm right.
I hit level 16, but I didn't spend a point yet because I was locked in. But we jumped into a place called the Pitted Stain. I didn't know at the time, but this is a Ripper drill site that you can encounter and you get loot from it if you defeat the boss sometimes. And I thought we were just fighting ads. But then at the end it spawned 3 bosses for us to take down.
Oh, boss is here. Sal the engineer and Hank the Wolf.
Oh,
Sal the engineer was the first one to get scoped.
That's one down, I think. Almost.
Yep.
One down.
first south.
Then Hank the welder was next to get shredded.
Got him.
And then finally, Frank the furnace was the last to fall. And then it finally happened.
Yeah. It does feel good to play.
He's down.
That's cool.
Okay, so there should be somewhere around. Oh, I got a legendary drop.
Oh, me too! It's a
Oh, I
gold!
got a throwing knife? No, it's not
Mine's
a
a
throwing
grenade
knife.
launcher.
Fucking grenade.
Or
Mine's
grenade.
just a grenade.
Oh, regular
Yeah,
grenade.
mine too.
The booming charmer key was my first ever legendary to drop out in the wild for me ever in Borderlands 4. This particular one is a grenade that you throw and it will home in and seek out enemies to dink on the head. And then it will repeatedly dink them until they die or until the grenade's lifespan runs out. This thing was a ton of fun, especially in these early levels. I then remembered to put my 5th and final point from level 16 into target prescience. I hope I never have to say those 2 words in the same sentence back to back ever again. Foreshadowing. I hit level 17 just a little bit later. I put a point into conjunction because I planned to eventually have a build that would run at max shield and max health all the time. You'll see how it comes together in the end. Alright, no spoilers now though. On the way to one of our story objectives, we ended up crossing paths with the 3rd vault key fragment from the terminus range area of the world.
I discovered.
Did you get it? Oh. On the way in?
I don't know why I'm waiting for you. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna grab it for both of us. Hey, there it is.
And
Third
the
piece.
bobblehead.
By
as
my
well.
count, that's a vault key.
And turns out, the vault itself wasn't too far away either.
Gotta go higher up. Right. Oh, Jesus. Hello. Whip that bitch. Come on. Come on.
You
Come
got
on.
this.
Yeah. There it is.
Only 3 keys. Vault door.
Vault door.
Well, honestly, the world hasn't given me much. So let's hope this vault does.
This one was the Vault of Inceptus. It starts off with a few gauntlets of killing order enemies until you finally reach the boss fight against Inceptus himself. Before that, I did hit level 18 during the gauntlets and stuck another point into conjunction. So the Inceptus boss fight is full of cool mechanics, like pulling off his armor with your grapple to expose weak points.
Wait, it says you can grapple him?
Yeah, I saw that too. Oh, I see it.
I saw it for a second. And I
Oh,
just
you can
lost
like
it.
pull things off to like make his crits, give him
Make
a
it
crit
crit,
spot.
yeah. Okay, there's crits on his leg now. And his
Yeah, and
shoulder.
on his shoulder.
Or at a certain health threshold, he will cocoon and force you to do platforming above a poison floor.
He's cocooning
Oh, what the fuck?
the floors.
Oh, you
grapple
gotta jump
grapple
up, yeah.
and then you gotta grapple to a different one.
Oh, I
So
see.
the top of it is the trick.
But no legendary dropped the first time we defeated him.
Oh,
He's
Beat
gone.
him.
Oh my god! Loot
I
explosion!
didn't get any legendaries.
I didn't either. Oh, look at this! Look at this! That dude. That.
However, the second time,
Wait.
Because now we have the glide pack. Oh,
Moxie's rerun.
Moxie rerun. Uh-oh. I think he's about to do the thing. Oh, he dropped the knife.
Oh my god, that chunking.
Oh yeah! Show me loot. Show me the loot. Oh, I got one.
I got an orange.
What I get? A shield? I got the shield.
Mine's, yep, Traveler Extra Medium.
Fleeting extra medium.
Extra Medium is my second ever legendary to be acquired. Also picked up my first ever epic purple rarity Vladoff SMG, and I seriously instantly fell in love and I never looked back. I love the Vladoff SMGs. I cannot stress this enough. We decided to farm Inceptus for a little bit more just to see what would happen, and 2 runs later, I got another extra medium that I thought would be better suited for me for sure.
Go down, damn it.
I gotta go
Oh,
legendary.
another legendary.
What is it?
Is it a shield again?
Yeah. mine's
Oh,
a
another shield.
Mine's a
Alert
resonant
extra
extra medium.
When equipped, grants minus 20 shield recharge delay. Oh,
It says
cool.
when dealing damage, 10% to grant an overshield. I
think
actually
that's better.
like that one a lot.
But Willie couldn't stick around too much longer, so I was back on my own once more and ready to tackle some more story missions and hopefully run into some more legendary drops.
Alright, well, this is where I will bid you adieu.
I hear that.
Later, Gators.
Good night.
The next boss I had to face was everyone's favorite, the Oppressor. Also hit level 19 right before battling it.
Oh, it's got like a rare reload. It's awesome.
What's happening with your face area?
Maybe it's not so rare. It's happened twice in a row. Oh, level 19.
Basically, this is like a big ship in the sky, and it's not always easy to hit depending on your weapons, and a lot of the time the loot can land on inaccessible rooftops or just fall out of the playable area. I find it funny more than not, so I think the more loot that lands on the roof, the better. Don't ever fix this.
Look at all those shades of gray.
Holy fuck, this underbarrel is ridiculous. That is insane damage. It's just hit the back boss. Where's my loot?
So I put that level 19 level up point into conjunction again, and I continued forward after beating the Oppressor. So the story quest then splits itself into 2 sections. You can either start doing the Snowy Mountain Zone or the Desert Zone. I decided to go down the Snowy Mountain path because the name sounded cooler. After probably a dozen firefights taking place while following my objective marker, I hit level 20, where I put a 4th point into conjunction. I figured it was finally time to start cleaning out some of the contracts that I'd stockpiled in my inventory from visiting many fast travel locations and whatnot, because it was getting to a point where I couldn't take any more new ones. Doing a scan quest and a bounty quest got me up to level 21, where I went back and decided to start putting points into Bloodletter again. I realized that increasing the level increases the bleed damage, which means more bleed means more good. Following another trail of a contract, I actually ran into a random world boss event thing. I don't know what they're really called, but you can tell when you found one because you see one of these giant bubbles out in the wild. Evan Horizon didn't drop anything super exciting, but it does give you a decent chunk of XP. At this point in the story is when I met the character Amaro. Unfortunately, having not played Borderlands 3, this moment did not hit as hard as it probably should have. But yeah, she's a returning character if you didn't know. She's cool. Yeah. Doing some missions with Amara got me in enough trouble, which would bring me to level 22, and it let me put my 4th point into Bloodletter. If you didn't realize by now, I was doing all this in this same 7-hour session. The day has not ended yet for me, but I was starting to wind down a bit, so I did a couple more contracts before doing one more story mission for the fans. Towards the end of this mission is when they introduced the first Vile enemy type, which is a unique type of strong enemy that has weak points on the body that you have to knock off and then prevent them from reforming. Only when all the weak points are destroyed at the same time can this enemy take damage. I think they're pretty cool. You know, this particular boss is the Vile prototype, and with the weapons I had, I did struggle a bit to keep the crystals off of him, but eventually I did bring him down. Ooh,
Come quickly. We need to keep searching.
legendary. The Vile prototype dropped my 3rd ever legendary in the game, and also my 1st ever legendary weapon, the Looming King's Gambit. This is a Jacob's pistol, which, if you know, is my favorite, but it has a bit of a Teddior twist added to it. Teddior, is that how you say it? I don't know, tell me. So when you use the ammo or reload, you throw the gun away still, but instead of it becoming a bomb like the other Teddior weapons, it becomes a ricochet target, so that any weapons that fire into it will then ricochet even more projectiles towards enemies. Not only that, any of those hits that are critical also ricochet because of it being Jacob's. I think it is one of the most unique guns in the game, let alone across all of the shooters that I've played. But while I was testing that bad boy out, you may have seen that I hit level 23, and I put that point into Bloodletter, which would now max it out. And that was the end of what some would call my 3rd day on Borderlands 4. On that 3rd day, we learned that Vladof is goated. We also learned what vaults would entail, and that vault bosses are actually cool as hell. We also learned that the devs respect players enough to have fast traveling to co-op partners, and they also gave us easy access to farming bosses in the boss farming video game with that encore system. Thank you devs, you have been spared from layoffs for at least 5 more business days. Use your time wisely. The next time I logged in, I had my girlfriend with me. I genuinely bought Borderlands 4 for her just because I was enjoying it that much. But because now she was playing in this series for the first time ever just like me, you know what that means, folks? We go right back to the very first level once again. It's fine though, I truly love gaming, you know? While her shaders were compiling or whatever, I took the liberty to do a little side quest for some XP and hit level 24, where I capped out the conjunction skill at a 5 out of 5. Also, she ended up picking Harlow as her Vault Hunter. But as Borderlands 4 did when it was near launch day, it bugged out bad, and it soft locked her quest line, the one where you follow Claptrap to the elevator. It just didn't update the objective when we got there. Selena also had a headache at the time, so going up to level 3 was as much as she could tank for right now.
I like the game. I want to play more, but my head hurts.
But as the noticer, I noticed Willie Pete online, so I joined Willie Pete's game to bother him on purpose. What up? Also, if you didn't know, anytime you play through the first level over again, it will replace your current rep kit with the one RJ gives you, and you will like it, and you will go down for it.
Wow. You have the wrong healing stick on. I do, I have a white one. I was playing with Selena and it auto-equipped the default, like...
Oh,
yeah.
the tutorial one or whatever, like the quest one?
Yeah.
Willie was in the middle of a side mission where at the end you fight a boss called Sludge Maw. Threshers in general are annoying because when they go under, they stop receiving all types of damage, even if you apply a DOT effect. DOT stands for damage over time, but I wouldn't expect a noob like you to know such a term. But defeating Sludge Maw didn't give us shit, really, despite it being the most drawn out brawl ever. Whatever, man. Willie was able to hit level 20 off that, which means he unlocked class items. And what do we do with that information? We go farm that guy Idolator's soul from earlier to get him a class item, of course. On the way back there, I was able to hit level 25. I stuck that point into a perk called Material Components, which increases my kinetic weapon damage, but also my kinetic status effect damage. And as far as I know, bleed is a kinetic status effect. I'm not sure if there are any others yet, but it seems very particular word choice to not say bleed and they say kinetic status effect. Anyway, if you're curious, me and Willie farmed exactly 1 Idolator Soul before getting our legendary drop on the next run.
Show me the loot!
Yo, legendary too?
Oh. Get out of here. Did it just fall through the map?
Oh my god.
Dude, give me my fucking legendary!
Alright, listen, I got something for you.
Give it back!
2 problems with this. Willie's fell through the floor. You hate to see that.
Dude!
And mine dropped for a different class entirely than the one that I already play. Ouch. But we can mark down my 4th legendary collected. It is the Harlow class item called the Bio Robot. I will be handing this over to my girlfriend and she will be equipping it once she hits level 25. With the farm continued, we ran exactly 1 more runs to get Selena back on the game. She said she really didn't care about being thrown right into the mixie, so you guys can't hold it against me, alright? She said it was chill. But then it took us another 2 runs to give up on the dream and to do something else. That something else was to juice up Selena's story progress. She hadn't even fought a Splash Zone at this point, because the quest off locked.
Okay, it updated the quest line this time.
So we did some farming, we did some ad clearing, some traveling, you know, all that good stuff. They killed some enemies far away from me while I was eating food probably or something, and that pushed me over the edge to level 26. And this is where I started to experiment with cross-tree skill points for the first time. I locked in Idle Hands in Vex's blue skill path, which gives you reload speed based on how full your health is, which felt like it had synergy with the perk that gives me damage based on how full my health is. For many levels, I did not take off that King's Gambit Jacob's Legendary, and the only thing that convinced me to do so was a purple tier Vladov SMG with a Torg license on top of a Torg enhancement in another slot that increased Torg license weapon damage by 25%. I feel like I'm starting to finally understand. The dots are connecting, my neurons are firing, I feel wrinkles in my brain forming. I'm learning Borderlands. So we were just casually running through some enemies on the next story mission, and we fought a badass watchman. When it died, it produced this audio sound.
Oh! What the fuck? This
What?
random enemy just dropped a legendary sniper rifle for me.
Oh, fuck yeah, world drop.
Stray was my 2nd ever legendary weapon, my 5th legendary to drop across the board. On paper, I like the sound of this sniper. It's got a support capability with its debuff marker as an alt fire, which I would assume stacks with everything else. And the main fire is a ripper thing that has like seeking or something, I ain't really sure. In practice, I think I was trying to do too much. I kept trying to stack like a bunch of debuffs and stack like a tracker and whatever to make it all shine, but it ended up souring me on the sniper rifle. But I would be willing to go back and give it another whirl and fully building into its capabilities if I got another one to drop. Selena ended up taking off again because it was bedtime for work in the morning, but a beast like me got 1 more hour in me before bed, and that means 1 more hour of Idolator Soul farming, baby. Let's go. So we farmed approximately 1 Idolator Soul, and then on the next one,
Yes, 2. Oh, is that
Got
it?
2 as well. Holy.
we received 2 legendary drops at the same time. What a pull. Unfortunately, I got a class item for another character again, the Exo-Soldier Rafa, as my legendary number 6. It's called a Devastating Dancer, and we can add it to the list, but I'm not very happy about it. And then I also got a Vladov Cove licensed, Jacob's licensed legendary SMG drop called the Totalitarian Onslaught. It is my 3rd legendary weapon drop, but my 7th legendary overall. It shoots fast, has unlimited mag until it overheats, ricochet critical hits, and this one deals radiation damage too. And finally, its main perk gives it a 30% chance to deal bonus damage for that shot and then not consume ammo for that shot. It's interesting in practice. I just wish it had a higher than 30% chance on that main perk. It doesn't make it feel legendary enough when it's only at 30%, at least for me. And then the very next run,
That was better. Was it good enough?
I got a
think
legendary.
I think that's it. Let's go.
It's for the girl again. The other girl.
I got yet another Harlow class item, while Willie Pete got the Vex class item he was hunting down. Whatever, man. Ooh. I'm talking 3 runs in a row. What are the odds of that? I got another legendary. It is my 4th weapon and my 8th legendary in general. This one is the Golden God. It's primarily a Ripper shotgun that's also got a Cove magazine. This time the Cove mag does not break when it's overheating, but it does burn through your ammo reserves much more quickly. So be sure to fully max out your shotgun reserves if you want to use this thing. I also rolled it to have a Gauss gun as an alt fire. I don't know if that's a random roll or not, but I used this thing on the next run and gave it a whirl. It seemed like decent damage, but I just didn't really have the ammo reserve to justify holding the trigger. Not like it increases the damage by being overheated either. So I really haven't found the one yet, the one legendary that clicks with me, but I must continue searching, and I must continue grinding to level 50 as soon as I come back from sleeping. So what we learn on day 4? Well, not all legendaries are sick nasty. Sometimes you just won't like it, and that's alright. We also learned that I got some pretty good luck. I mean, a random drop off a random badass is pretty crazy, on top of 3 runs of Idolator in a row having a legendary. I also began putting pieces together a lot faster, like weapon manufacturer enhancements, pairing with the different licenses on different weapons. It's starting to click for me. And the most important thing I learned was that you can cross path your skill trees, which I never would have expected given the actual design of the menu. You know, it feels like green stays with green, red with red, blue with blue, but that's not necessarily the case all the time, and Borderlands is proof. So the next time I logged in, I didn't really have a ton of time to play on this day, so I ended up just doing a safe house and a side quest called Mob Mentality. It was a fine mission, but it got me to level 27, where I'd put the next point into the Idle Hands perk again. That was one whole play session summed up. Word of advice: never become employed unless you have to. Just play video games all day. I wish I could. Don't actually take that advice. Or do. I don't know. Live your life. But the next time I played, I got back in the thick of it, moving Selena's story progress forward. Funny moment, I bought this shotgun from a vendor that rolled dataless on base and a Ripper license, and it shot really fast. As we completed missions and did some side objectives together, particularly we were unlocking a safe house to travel to, and I hit level 28. I also saw this.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. What?
What?
There's a there's a legendary being sold in here.
What's that mean?
There goes my 5th legendary weapon and my 9th legendary ever, and it was just chilling at a vendor. Keep this in mind though. This one is called Kowson. It has a perk called Granted. Who knows what that does? It's a Vladoff, so my favorite type of weapon, plus a Torg license, and an Atlas license underbarrel tracking dart. This all sounds wonderful to a fella such as myself, much better than the totalitarian onslaught that I was trying to use before, and I was right, it was better. But I stuck that level 28 level up point into Idle Hands and maxed it out, and I kept it pushing. Also, I ended up re-speccing my skills at some point. I think it was because I found out about the cross-pathing in the skill trees. I decided to go all in on the Leeching Attunement, all in on Bloodletter, all in on Target Prescience, and all in on Material Components. Idle Hands, just like I mentioned, was also maxed out, as well as 2 more blue skills I started that I did not mention before. I had put 2 points into Cold Iron. Each point increases my gun damage by 3%, and then I had 2 more points into a perk called Portents of Suffering, each point giving me 7% more damage on status effects. and that seems to work well with bleed. So this is the set that I was sticking to from here on out. I did not respec my skills anymore because it seemed like it was more focused on bleed, crits, and lifesteal and maintaining that synergy between the three. I ended up taking Selena through her first vault. It's the same one that was my first vault, so nothing crazy. Then the greatest grinder on planet Earth joined. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
This guy grinds so much he had to capitalize the R. He's so far ahead he joined in on his second character because the first character he played on was already 50. Whatever. But it was pretty soon after that vault that I hit level 29, and I put a point into Drink Full. This perk increases the fire rate of your weapons by a small percentage, but it does so every time you deal damage and stacks up to 50 times. So each point put into Drink Full at its 50 stack potential means a 6% increased fire rate, which is kind of a big deal since I've taken a liking to automatic weapons that shoot really fast, so stacking Drink Full was not a big deal. We actually ended up doing the oppressor fight again. Surely you remember that flying beast, and surely I would get something good this time, right?
My meat is punching jellyfish at him.
Sorry for another. I've gone to a secondary hideaway.
Oh,
Here are
wait,
the
what the fuck?
coordinates. We can discuss this.
He dropped the
Legendary.
legendary,
There.
Oh, yeah, I got one too.
So it's my 6th legendary weapon and my 10th legendary overall. It's the Strange Streamer, also known as the Moon is Out. This goes in the ordnance slot. It deals radiation damage. And it's kind of cool because instead of it being like other laser beam weapons, it allows you to plant little turrets that they themselves shoot the lasers. But I ended that day there and got ready for the next day. So what we learn on day 5.5 or however you want to count it? Well, thanks to the homie Nate, I learned that when you start a new character after hitting 50 and or completing the story, the alts that you pick start at level 30 instead of level 1. That's cool. On the next day, I started out by doing some contracts to get me over the line to level 30. I spent the point on getting Portents of Suffering to 3 out of 5. I then stumbled into a world activity while doing some side quests. These things are mines. They're pretty reminiscent of like dungeons from other games, maybe like Skyrim or something. I ran through this cave where at the end I fought a boss called Shadow Pelt. This is where I actually put that strange streamer weapon to the test.
what the fuck is this weapon?
I don't know, I was kind of fiending for some legendaries here on Shadow Pelt, so I didn't want to leave this boss fight area until I was fed at least one legendary. So, after 2 kills on Shadow Pelt, I got 1.
Here you go, legendary? Oh, hello. Legendary.
My 11th legendary was Sparky Shield. Whenever your shield was not fully charged, it does shock damage to nearby enemies. That's not bad, but receiving damage can sometimes drop a booster that regenerates shield, which is a little counterintuitive, but then it's also kind of counterintuitive that when my shields do become full, my next shot deals double damage, but also drains the shield by 28%. That perk seems to be better suited for high burst damage weapons, which I wasn't rocking with quite yet. So playing with this particular Sparky Shield was kind of weird, but I ended up leaving that mine after 3 more kills on Shadow Pelt, hoping for the best, but none legendaries. Then I did some contracts until I noticed that this world event thing was active. This one was called the Gordello, which was like a wave-based thingy that got periodically more difficult as you went on, but it was easy for a beast like myself to get platinum scores on every round. Sparky Shield actually didn't do too bad here, because it's definitely more geared towards doing crowd work than fighting bosses. But also this happened on round 2 of the event.
Legendary. Fuck.
My 12th ever legendary drop for me. This one is Timekeeper's new shield. It's kind of sick because it's not even a shield. It's like straight up like, yeah, you're naked now. You do gain max health and you gain health regen per second and you gain damage resist. This would go crazy if there were any builds I knew of that could take advantage of these 3 things, but I have to get my PhD in Borderlandsology first. I finished this wave event thing just shy of level 31, allowing me to knock a few enemies for the remaining XP and putting that new skill point into Grave Vitality. This is a skill that triggers on kill, where each kill up to 10x gives you a 1% health increase and a 0.1% health regen increase. It seemed to synergize with that shield I just got, so I rocked with it. I did another side quest and I activated some fast travel spots before finally getting back on track with the main story missions, where I finally reached my objective and I was greeted by a vendor. And if I wasn't streaming and recording this, I don't think anyone would have ever believed me. But just look at this absolute god tier pull.
Was damage and pivotal damage taken by the impacted target is increased by 15%. Damage to the impacted target are automatic critical hits. Grenade cooldown reduced by 20%. Okay, this is weird. This is something we need.
I didn't quite know the full power of what was in my hands at the time, but I really pulled the crit knife from a damn vendor at level 31, and this was at least a couple of weeks before they reworked it as well, which has just been put through at the time of writing this script, so I'm kind of dating it right now, but whatever. The mission I was on to was the mission where I finally got to take on Vile Lictor. He's the boss of the snowy mountain region that I chose to go to after all these sessions. I finally was going to finish this area. He's a beast. He doesn't know that I have the fucking critical knife. The critic knife. Reminds me of the final boss of RoboQuest. When you guys have ever played that shit. Uh-oh, phase 2. Oh! You ugly bro. Don't do that again. Stay over there. The bleed. The bleed. Ugh. Oh, legendary. My first ever run of Vile Lictor dropped me the Super Soldier Legendary Shield. It says that whenever you have full shield, you gain 25% fire rate and movement speed, and it also generates 1 ammo directly into your magazine every second. That doesn't sound like a lot for those 60 to 80 round mag SMGs, but for some of those snipers and the shotguns that I end up grabbing later, it's a must have. On that Super Soldier, I also rolled a chance to gain movement speed while dealing damage, as well as a perk where it has a 15% chance to add bullets that damage me to my ammo count, which also helps me keep shooting longer. It's kind of a sick shield if you ask a guy like me. Oh yeah, I also pulled another legendary in the damn red chest right after too. They're just raining this stuff on me, man. Keep it coming, seriously.
It got weird, but Lictor's dead. And Amora. That siren.
Okay. This one is a completion. It's an armor segmented shield instead of a classic regenerating energy shield. Its perk is Sisyphusian. It says that if your armor is ever full, it takes a chunk of armor away. Sounds bad, but then you see the Spunky perk, which gives you 20% bonus damage per armor chunk that you're missing. And since completion has 5 segments, a broken armor altogether means that you would deal double damage for the duration it's broken. I like it a lot on paper as well. I just need to figure out a way to consistently keep my armor down when using this particular legendary, but until then, that brings us the total to 14, in case you forgot. So finalizing the mission with Vile Lictor brought me to level 32, adding another point to Grave Vitality. I decided to double back to Vile Lictor and do some legendary farming, and you'll never guess what happened.
Shred, bro, the shred. Another legendary. A class item. For my class that I'm playing as. Fucking finally.
as our 15th legendary. I finally got a class item legendary for my class in particular. Finally, the Siren class. This one is called Undead Eye. It's built for snipers and rides off a perk called Bloodshot. So, for starters, Bloodshot is a perk that states that when you have your rep kit popped, your next bullet fired deals 10% of your current health per perk point invested into the perk. My class item rolled with 3 perks already invested into Bloodshot. It's just wild, man. But that's why the condition is set to using a rep kit, right? But that's until you realize this class item allows you to bypass the rep kit condition on the perk just by landing a crit with a sniper, which is not hard to do considering we have the crit knife. But all I need now is just a good sniper rifle to go hand in hand with Undead Eye. I did try out this Vladoff one on Biolictor. I'd say it did pretty okay, I think. Wasn't bad. Ouch.
You're legendary. Oh my god.
So my 2 legendaries are another Super Soldier Shield and Blockbuster, which is a radiation damage impact grenade from Vladoff that rolled with a 25% chance to crit at the same time. It's definitely cool, but it's no crit knife at this point in the game. Also, it's highly dangerous to the user. We've seen this one before. And the other Super Soldier Shield that instead rolled with the ability to generate shield boosters when taking damage, which is great. It makes much more sense on this one. But in total, that is 16 unique legendaries so far. Clearly my luck was just off the rails today. So now I was meant to travel across to the other side of the map to tackle the desert portion of the main story.
This fucking Mad Max ass area.
I couldn't have said it better myself, past me. But it is nice they have returning character Zane, who I have no idea about. Apparently he's from Borderlands 3 as well. And also a returning character, none other than Moxie herself, running yet another bar. I do remember gambling a lot with her in Borderlands 2. I hope I'm not misremembering. Y'all remember that gambling? Do you give her iridium? Something like that. So I turn around to check out the vendors and... Oh, hello. Remember when I was talking about needing a good feeling sniper rifle? It's like John Borderland himself was watching me play the game. Like, how did I get crit knife, Undead Eye, and my 7th legendary weapon, 17th overall legendary, boom slang? This thing is a Jacob's base, so it has the ricochet crit, and it shoots Torg licensed bombs. What more could you ask for from a sniper rifle? Nothing. That's what I'm talking about. If you thought I was bordering on overpowered before with the crit knife, you haven't seen anything yet. I was basically one-shotting everything that wasn't a boss at this point. But bosses you will see in a moment. Before that, I hit level 33 and I sank the point into Grave Vitality. So I entered this world spawn boss, one of the ones in a bubble, and let's just see how it unfolds with boom slang.
I almost feel bad for you. Almost.
Thanks for the loot, moron.
That's what I call ending the day on a high note. So what we learned? I don't know. But the next time I logged in, I had another short evening to play with Willie Pete. We grinded a boss who was fighting in one of these world objectives that is similar to a dungeon. I think these are called bunkers, I believe. This boss guy was called the Divisioner, and I don't mean Tom Clancy. And he was actually pretty interesting because while he does take direct damage, he actually dies faster when you defeat more of his clones, the clones that he spawns every time you break his blue shield health bar. When we cleared him the 3rd time, it dropped me my 18th and 19th brand new legendary to add to my collection.
Oh, two legendaries.
Oh, I got 2 as well.
One of them was a sidearm called Sideshow. It's a Tedior base, and the perk reads, shoot as many targets as possible before they hit the ground and refill up to 2 ammo per target hit. So it reads like when you were a kid and you had a balloon that was kind of deflated, but it's still kind of floaty and you would try to keep it bouncing up without letting it touch the ground. Y'all remember that one? That's one of the classics right there. Bring that back. And then the other one was an ordnance called Tinged Inkling. Mine came as a cryo, and it seems like a paint gun that leaves the element it rolls as on the ground wherever it bounces. It could be kind of sick, but I don't think I ended up trying it out because I was so fascinated by Sideshow.
Oh, what the fuck? Wait.
Huh.
So if anyone has a way to make Sideshow work, I want to see it. Please link me. That shit is just too goofy not to be funny in real gameplay. We also fought a world boss called Spadangle, or Spida and Angle. You decide on that one, I don't know. I was eating some food while Willie was farming some XP. Thanks, Willie. I hit level 34, and I added a point into Grave Vitality. Right before me and Willie logged off for the night. Just look at this shit, and you cannot make it up.
I'll see what I can find out. But no promises.
Kindred Spirits, I guess, is technically my 20th legendary, but I ended up passing it to Willie because he was talking about using the minion build for Vex in the future, probably. And this just seemed like a great class item for him to have. You might or might not count it as 20, but I will because I paid my hard-earned cash for it. Don't worry anyway, because we'll be getting another one for the Passion later in the next video. Next day I logged in, I was back on my lonesome, ready to finally finish out this game's story. It won't be today, but that's what I'm ready for. Some enemies were bothering me while I was fishing, so I turned them into beef chunks and made it to level 35. I planted that skill as my 4th one to go into Portents of Suffering. This is what I do to a boss like Driller Hole. Many missions and objectives later, I was able to hit level 36 and added a point into Drink Full. At the end of the desert area, I was finally able to finish the desert zone by taking on Callus, the Ripper Queen. She's not too bad of a boss fight, but I farmed her for loot like 8 times until I finally heard that legendary ding sound ring out for the 21st time. This one was a shield called Pandoran Memento. Isn't Pandora from like Borderlands 2 or something? I don't know. It allows you to resist the most recent source that damaged you by 50%, plus a flat 15% elemental DR across the board. It also drops with a chance to generate overshields when doing damage, and has a 10% faster recharge than normal. I think that's what that means. I would call this not bad when facing off against challenges that deal a lot of elemental damage, but that's just not me right now. I'm not dealing with elemental stuff. At least not too much, you know? I don't have a whole lot of time left in the day, but I did continue to farm the Ripper Queen 3 more times, and that's when she dropped another legendary, the 22nd one, the Esgrimador. It's not for Vex, therefore it will just go in the vault. Then in the immediate next run, I got a legendary enhancement, which I didn't even know existed. I forgot that it existed until I rewatched this part. But this is my 23rd legendary called Rapid Onset Glacier. It is a Cove-based enhancement that gives Cove weapons a 25% chance to not cost heat, and it gives them bonus damage while under 50% heat. Seems like this would pair pretty decently with Totalitarian Onslaught if I were ever to get one of those again, which of course I will in the next video. 6 more drops later, I pulled a Forge Knight class item for the character known as Amon. Anything but a Vex class item, am I right or am I right? But it's called Viking, seems good for him, I don't really know. 3 runs later, I didn't drop a legendary, but I did level up to 37, which is where I put a point into Drinkful and called it a day. I feel like at this point we've got a lot of the basics of Borderlands pretty much understood. You know, my learning is starting to plateau a bit, which is fine. You know, it's part of the process. You plateau and you go up, you plateau. Y'all know about that? All right, next day, it was time to really get to work. Right, guys? My quest markers were a bit bugged. Turns out, when I played with Willie all those days ago and did a couple of missions that were ahead of where I was really at in my side, I made the choice to skip missions that I already had done when I got back to my save. Unfortunately, this had the adverse effect of causing my game to not update the quest marker to allow me to continue after having both paths, the snowy and the desert, completed. Don't worry too much, it's not a hard lockout. All I had to do was roll back, pick up one single mission the game wasn't entirely sure that I had completed. It's the one where the game teaches you how to use the locust gas against enemies like Bio Bulkhead, and you blow up an airship when it attacks one of your fast travel spots. But basically right after that, the game prompted me again to skip missions I had already done, which I said yes to again, and then the quest line fixed itself back to the original chronology I knew from before. I love troubleshooting in my $70 game. So now it was time to do an assault on the moon or whatever. Zane and Amara would be joining us as I would hit level 38 and put the final point to finish off Portents of Suffering. This mission has you fight a ton of fellas. I was almost 3/4 of the way to 39 before I even got to the rerun fight of Callus the River Queen. But now she was in like a true form, you know, she was powered up. Low-key, she went down like a sack of potatoes because of my build, and they were able to awaken the secret twists behind Borderlands 4. And if you don't want spoilers, close your eyes and plug your ears and go la 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 la. But it is that Lilith from basically every other Borderlands game, so I did recognize her a little bit, is here. She's here. She's like, dude, she did the moon thing or something. I don't know the lore. You know, you feel me on that one? But it's cool because she was able to bring me back off the moon where I did hit 39 and I can work towards facing the Timekeeper himself in his big ass citadel. I put point 39 right into Drinkful, by the way. Okay, I basically railroaded myself down the main quest and racked up a ton of XP towards level 40. This is where I finally finished off the Grave Vitality skill to make my way into maxing out Bloodshot, right? Hopefully. Nearby a safe house, I was just knocking down some enemies, and one of the small fry dropped me a whole ass legendary, a grenade, just right in front of me, just right there. Wow. My 24th legendary, called Swarm, seemed like a cooler version of that one we got all the way back, my first one ever, the one that would seek out enemies and all that. But still, crit knife reigned supreme because this is still pre-patch. I gotta say, the last leg of the game was pretty good with slanging tons of enemies at me. It put me and my weapons to the test sometimes, despite me using the most broken build of all time and all that. But getting closer and closer to the Timekeeper's tower meant that I was gaining XP at a rapid pace. And at 41, you think I would put a point into Bloodshot, but I did not. Okay, I put it into Essence Leech. And I think it's because I wanted to make a skill setup that could fit in with other builds, in the sense that, you know, I was getting a little bit bored of the sniper rifle setup that I've been using for the last, 10 levels or whatever. The sniper rifle is insanely stupid though. Just look at what this thing does to the dang Timekeeper, the final boss, pre-patch at least.
So let's enjoy it.
He got to let off one single attack. At least there's a phase 2, right? Homie got to let off one single attack again.
Well, it was the end of the road for the timekeeper, and while the credits were rolling, I think we can reflect a little bit of how I came into this video as a complete Borderlands noob shooting peas to an absolute demon, essentially one-tapping the final boss. Like, how did we get here? I think it's something to be proud of. You know, I tried really hard to learn everything, but I got super lucky with the things that I fell into. You know, I fell into the best build in the game at the time, which is crazy. But we still have 9 more levels to go for this video, you know, hang in there. So after you come back from the credits, the game gives you a new mission. When you enter the Timekeeper's vault, none other than RJ shows up to get in your way. And for some reason, Bleed doesn't trigger off RJ, so I didn't one-tap him at least. But I did do pretty well against him, you can say that much. I also noticed for the first time, a purple level up animation. These purple level ups are known as specializations. They're basically like universal skill trees. They don't require a specific class, but they can combine depending on which nodes that you invest in at the top. It sort of acts as another way for you to be able to slant your builds towards certain playstyles even harder. So of course, I started leveling the brute skill to up my gun damage, but I also will later spec into sharpshooter for bumping up my reload speed and gun accuracy. Now I think one might say we are in the end game of Borderlands 4. I'm beginning to go through my Ultimate Vault Hunter quest line, aka UVH, and basically they also teach me about firmware, and they tell you how you can transfer a good firmware that's on a shitty item and put it on a good item that currently has a shitty firmware. It's definitely something that's more for min-maxing than anything else, if you're into that kind of thing of course, but it seems like Borderlands 4 is trying to make it fun to lean into min-maxing. So what's next? Keep following the Ultimate Vault Hunter track, you maybe pick up some bounties if they're any good, and also getting legendary drops from a random vile enemy you encounter in the wild. Or maybe that's just me. The 25th legendary was for Amon, once again, the Forge Master class item added to the collection. I definitely got distracted or something on the way to my next objective because I ran into this bunker for fun probably, and at the end of the road there's a boss called the Callous Harbinger of Annihilating Death. Kind of a mouthful, yeah? A little bit edgy. You know, who's an edgy boy? Who's a good edgy boy? Thinking about getting a shorter name, man. How about that? I didn't know what the hell this was the first time I saw it, but apparently looking it up, it's a thing called a phosphine weapon. It's basically like a shiny version of a legendary, and for the 26th one that I ever got, to me that's not bad at all, folks. Many are saying I might be one of the luckiest Borderlands players to ever do it, but I wouldn't say that. I'm just a regular Joe. But Kaleidosplode is kinda ass though. I tried to use it, but the damage is so inexplicably low. It's not ideal for my first ever phosphine, but it's still awesome that I even got one. So because it was my first time ever in the endgame of Borderlands 4, my introduction to being an Ultimate Vault Hunter led me on a track to find Maurice's vending machine. If you ever played Destiny, this vendor is basically like Xur. He has a location that changes every week and an inventory that cycles legendaries every week. So once you're in the endgame, you want to check this guy for some weapons and shit that you don't own yet. During the week that I was playing at the time, he was selling an SMG called Dark Beast and a grenade called Buoy, but they only let you get one of them for free. So I chose Dark Beast. It was my 27th legendary to grace me. This is a corrosive, dataless Jacob's weapon. It also has an Atlas underbarrel. This gun also shoots over-penetrating rounds, and each bullet has a 5% chance to trigger an explosion. It's pretty sick when you're fighting enemies of the yellow health bar variety. I started taking on some more contracts at basically any place that would just give them to me. That's why I hit level 42 and put that point into continuing Essence Leech. Then the Ultimate Vault Hunter quest teaches you about Moxie's big encores. They are also objectives that rotate weekly, and now you have a place to finally spend all of that iridium you've been hoarding since the start, if you're a beast like me. When you spend on the iridium version of an encore, allegedly the boss has better drop rates, and I mean, when they tutorialized me on Splashstone, I literally got my 28th legendary right there. This was a shield called Fireworks. It spawns homing missiles every time you get a kill, and each time one of the armor segments of the shield breaks, it spawns 3 more missiles. It's kind of silly, but I like the vibe it's going for. A little automatic missile machine. But to continue with that Ultimate Vault Hunter stuff,
Lilith has you do some wildcard missions. Wildcards are reruns of some story missions, and I'm sure you won't be surprised what mission it is rotates weekly. The missions come with random modifiers and typically have some juiced rewards when you beat them. So for the most part, they are worth doing, but they do remind me just how much yapping they do in the story, man. It gets to a point where we need dialogue skipped versions, and I'm not joking. About 3/4 of the way through the wildcard mission, I turned this guy into bacon bits, and he rewards me with a brand new 29th legendary drop. It unfortunately is another shield item. It's called Guardian Angel, and it lets you get revived from the down state faster. And if you happen to not get a kill during your down state, you get a free pickup that is on a 5-minute cooldown. I think it's a nice idea, but it seems better for fellas who go down a lot, not lions like myself who do not concern themselves with defensive abilities. Finishing my first ever wildcard mission transitioned me into UVH rank 1. Allegedly, as your UVH rank increases, you get extra firmwares that you can roll on your items, you get better chances on your weapons for them to come licensed. And I think Iridium drops a bit more from killing stuff, and the enemies are definitely tougher for sure. Doing more UVH challenges keeps that rank going up. So I wanted to figure out how to do the current week's Moxie Big Encore for fun and XP. However, I learned that the specific bunker this guy was in at the time could only be accessed if you do a specific chain of side quests, so off to do that first. During the side mission, one gassy issue, I ended up hitting level 43 by killing enough enemies, and I put that point into Essence Leech again. Now that I've done that mission, I gained access to the Iron Wall Resolve bunker, where at the end you fight the boss Directive Zero. He's kind of an annoying fellow with a front-facing shield and a railgun turret that spawns. Once you actually try to commit to memory that certain elements have certain strengths and weaknesses, then you can take advantage of it. Kinetic weapons, on the other hand, do equal damage across the board, like normal damage, not weak or strong. So when I was shooting my green weapon at the blue shield, my damage was being highly resisted. But you know, I still farmed a few big encores until I dropped my 30th legendary item. The Bonnie and Clyde. This is a pretty cool Jacobs assault rifle that became one of my favorites later on. It has the classic ricochet crit, but it also has 2 firing modes that when you get a kill with one, like let's say you get a kill with the classic assault rifle version, it gives the other mode double damage and a full ammo refill. So if you're playing your cards right, you can avoid having to reload ever, and you always have double damage while ricocheting crits off everything. So I decided to do one more whirl against Directive Zero, just to try out Bonnie and Clyde. And homie got fried, and in return, so there is my 31st legendary, Whiskey Foxtrot. It is a flat-off assault rifle with a Jacobs crit and a full auto overdrive alt fire. And it dropped as a phosphine. This is my second phosphine of the day, and also of all time. That's pretty crazy, 2 in one day. And then immediately after that, I opened the red chest to leave, and I came face to face with my 32nd legendary. Unfortunately, it is an Amon class item, but crazy pull still. But I ended up hopping off the toy for the night, and then it was time to grind again the next day. On this day, it was a brand new week for Borderlands 4 gamers. So the first thing I did was hightail it over to Maurice's shop, where he was selling 2 different legendary weapons. The first one I picked up was the truck sniper rifle with Torg and Jacobs licenses, pretty similar to Boomslang, and it has a secret third perk that I don't know what it do. The truck sniper rifle ended up finally getting Boomslang out of my slot after like 15 levels or whatever it was, man. Later, I came back and bought the shotgun he was selling too when its cooldown ran out. This one is called Anarchy, and it came with a Teddy War mod that shoots enemies when you throw the gun. But that doesn't matter because I'm not trying to reload this thing. And I don't have to, thanks to Super Soldier Shield, but it's because of its main effect. And it's that whenever you get a kill up to 20 stacks, you gain a 15% damage boost, but then you lose 15% of your accuracy cone. This effect resets when you manually reload though, so that's exactly why I'm not trying to reload. It's a really weird gun, but it does a lot of damage, and I like it a lot. But that makes legendaries 32 and 33 collected. So this is the week where Oppressor was the big encore boss of the week. For me, I didn't have much loot go on the rooftop, and that's because of my first ever clear on it. He drops me the Asher's Rise sniper rifle, just like that, number 34. This one I didn't actually like that much, mostly because it's like Malawan. It is able to swap between corrosive and shock, but instead of crits dealing increased damage, they apply the status effect of the element that you're rocking with. For some reason that just did not feel solid to me. I feel like I wasn't doing a lot of damage, so I didn't really use it a whole lot yet, but it is nice that the two elements are corrosive and shock, which is great for battling order enemies. Shock is good against shield and corrosive is good against armor, which Oppressor seems to have both, and I think it shreds it. But I think anything with the crit knife and bleed will do that. Honestly, it could have been any weapon. Next up, I finish a side quest I left hanging on forever. Something Thresher mating ritual. This is like voice actor embarrassment ritual. I leveled up to 44 on the completion of that side mission, and I stuck the point into Essence Leech. Though I was just traveling around the desert area for a little bit, I noticed on the map that I had a safe house that I didn't capture yet, and when I did capture it, you'll never believe what happened next. Yup, I found my 35th legendary in another vendor. The Plasma Coil is a Malawan SMG with shock and radiation going for it. It's got pretty decent DPS considering it didn't roll with much extra stuff. I don't really know what its perk is though. I think it has like a better reload, like it reloads really fast. It felt cool to shoot though, and it is very good at knocking off shields at least. Shortly after, I wandered my way into killing a bunch of vile enemies that just wouldn't stop spawning while trying to do a contract. And one of these bad boys happened to drop me a legendary. The 36th one, called the Gamma Void. This one is an ordnance that creates a radiation singularity that sucks in the enemies and deals radiation damage. Could be kind of cool, but I don't think I tried it out since ordnance weapons are weird to me, especially when they have the long cooldowns, and I have no build for ordnance anyway. Then I noticed another one of these world events. This one was called Creep Impact, which was like about a meteor crash landing. You have to throw crystals that drop from the creeps into a machine that will destroy the incoming meteors. At first it was kind of easy, but I started getting owned pretty bad, and after a while I only made it through a few waves. It wasn't enough to get platinum, unfortunately, only gold rank. I think I'm washed. But I ended up spamming through enough contracts at this point to get me to level 45, now just 5 levels away from the end of the video. 5 levels away from going from a 0 to a hero. But I also got Essence Leech to 5 out of 5 with my level up point. I then decided to take on this week's wildcard mission. It was actually a side mission that was selected for wildcard, and I'm just unaware that side missions can even be selected in the first place. The important part though is that it gave me a healthy chunk of XP, and it rewarded me with one of these chests that you can open in the menu. That gave me the Oh My God Malawan SMG for number 37. This one says that as long as you have an energy shield, it gains 50% damage, but it consumes the energy shield energy instead of ammo. And also, if you have an overshield, it won't drain any of your shield, so as long as you have a shield, you can keep shooting. And I think it just goes infinite. Immediately after, I pulled a bounty crate that also jump scared me with a legendary sidearm. This one is a regulated bully. It's an order sidearm, but surprisingly, I ended up liking it a lot because up until this point I had hated every order weapon I got. I think what makes this one good is that it has a Ripper license, which I think is what carries it by allowing it to override the windup of order weapons and just fire away. It also creates a little drone buddy when you ADS. It's cool. I think at this point I wanted to get a new super soldier shield that had the effects scaled up to my level because it was starting to lag behind a little bit. So I went to the boss that I knew would have one for me, Vile Lictor. But instead I did end up with another blockbuster early on, even though I didn't really want that yet. And then maybe about 10 to 15 minutes into farming, I pulled a Ruby's Grasp, which is strangely both a Cove and a Tediore weapon. It says reloading it sends 4 homing copies. I just don't know if Vile Lictor was the best boss to test this on, but it definitely got good vibes because it has a voice on it. I remember the Bane. The Bane also has a voice. It's a little bit of a crossover there. On the very next run, I ended up with a Harlow class item, Universal Generator, so that's nice. And that makes 38 and 39 unique legendaries so far. And then sometime later, I got a double drop. Holy double with a blockbuster and a Universal Generator again. SMH my head. So that was immediately followed by another double drop of blockbuster and Universal Generator. I am not joking. This is real. So let's just say I farmed enough Vile Lictor to push into level 46, and I spent a point on Blood is Power. This states that Vex gains bonus gun kinetic damage based on her current lifesteal percent as long as her health is full, and each point I put into this perk is an extra 100% tacked on of whatever my lifesteal is. I'm not exactly sure what it means, but it seems strong because it said 100%. So, and it's all the way at the bottom too, so maybe it's pretty strong, I don't know. After nearly 1 hour, I finally got my Super Soldier replacement for my old one, and I could be on my way, finally. Now I was after a new item, and I just wanted a legendary rep kit, like any one of them at all. So I went after one called Triple Bypass. This was dropped by a boss called the Back Hive in a mine called the Claim. So I beat the boss one time, I didn't get it. Then I beat the boss once more with the Moxie Encore, and there it is, number 4040. Triple Bypass. This is a rep kit with 3 charges inherently, and every time you get a kill, it has a 30% chance to replenish one of the charges. And every time you use it, it gives you 40% movement speed. That's kind of crazy. It's a little bit normal. It's a little bit too normal for me though. I want something with like crazy effects. So I went after a new rep kit called Kill Spring, and that's found by beating the Axe Maul in the Toil of the Spoiling Viz Mine. With all my luck so far in this game, you might think it took me what, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 runs to get the Axe Maul to drop a Kill Spring? Yeah, buddy, try I never got it in approximately 90 kills. It's crazy because I ended up dropping the Bod shotgun from Axe Maul like 5 different times. I even got his other throwable weapon, the Buzz Axe. I got it 4 different times. I also got a replacement for Sideshow from the damn red chest before I got a Kill Spring. And after my 28th kill on Axe Maul, I got a Bugbear Torg AR from the red chest too. On my 58th kill, I got an Oh My God for the 2nd time, but it was off an ad kill. Wasn't even from the boss or a red chest. And on my 6th, 7th kill, yes, 6, 7, I ironically hit 47, the level, and I dropped my 3rd Buzz Axe, and I put the point into Blood is Power at least. And then on my 75th kill of Axe Maul, I pulled an entirely different rep kit from the red chest. It's called Shiny Warpaint. And so finally I just gave up around 90 runs, which added to about 2.5 hours. I just decided that I would rather try to hit level 50 with the rest of my time instead. But that now puts me at a total of 44 legendaries too, at least, you know, unique ones. Now it was time to roll some contracts and some Ultimate Vault Hunter challenges to try and get those last few levels of XP. The challenge I started on was doing the Bitter Vein mine in the north-ish area. He spit my loot off the map the first time. Then my next challenge required me to clear the One Slimy Issue side quest, which is a sequel to One Gassy Issue. It wasn't too bad of a mission, minus having to take out threshers constantly, but I got through it. And not even 1 second after fast traveling away at the end of the side quest, I pull up to a vendor in the Deep 7 for another legendary. The linebacker was just sitting in there. I think this one ended up being one of my favorites as well. This thing is awesome. Oh, it was number 45 of all of my legendaries. So I had to fight a Bio Bulkhead again for a UVH challenge, and he dropped a legendary too. Number 46 was the ordnance known as Waterfall. Seems a lot like a really strong cluster grenade that just spams a bunch of explosions and extra grenades. Next thing I did was some gambling at the local Plinko machine. I ain't getting nothing for winning bigly. So then I moved on and I killed the boss at this Ripper drill site. Her name was Sydney Pointy Legs, and that brought me to level 48, just 2 levels away from this video's goal. I used the point to max out Blood is Power, 3 out of 3. So in the distance, I saw one of these airships just chilling in the Hungering Plain, and it turns out it was a world event. I decided that would be a fun detour.
Incineration commencing. 10.
Though again, I am washed. I couldn't make it all the way up to platinum score, but it was still a pretty unique challenge for this game. I'll have to get it next time for sure. But I started doing some more contracts, particularly vile bounties if they had them, because they are fun and pretty rewarding usually. There was another vendor that showed me a legendary too, but unfortunately, it was one I already acquired, the triple bypass again, I fear. And then another vendor showed me another legendary that I already had. It was a Pandoran Memento from ages ago. It showed up again. I did another bounty quest for a chunk of XP, and that put me over the edge to level 49. I put the point in to top off Drinkful for the maximized fire rate at max stacks. So I was heading to my next bounty. I killed this random badass enemy that dropped me a shield legendary. This one was called Hoarder. This one has a 50% chance kill trigger, and it drops boosters that refill your gun ammo. And the absorb one that we saw before has a 15% chance to convert incoming bullets to ammo. And when you lose an armor segment while wearing the shield, it will refill 20% of your gun's mag. It's definitely like cool sounding on paper, but when Super Soldier just prints ammo from thin air every second, then low-key I would rather have that one than Hoarder. As I approached level 50 doing all of these bounties and such, I thought that I wanted to make these last moments of the Borderlands 4 grind cinema, you know? So I decided that I would take this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of hitting level 50 for the first time in Borderlands 4 and make it happen in the one place that all Vault Hunters should have it happen in a vault. So I ran around looking for all the vault keys that I hadn't collected yet, and I went to the Grindstone of the Worthy in the desert zone of the map, and I inserted my fragments to make a key that opens the Vault of Radix. I gained a good amount of XP battling the small fry before the boss fight itself, but that's how I knew this moment was going to be lit. Radix himself wasn't exactly a pushover either. He's a bit tougher than I expected, but a guy like me wouldn't go easy on him. I had to pull out the sniper.
I tried to save you. Something
an anomaly.
Yippee!
A vault.
A legendary.
Chaos is
But he dropped me a legendary in return. A good way to reward me for my grind. This one was a rep kit legendary called Adrenaline Pump, my 47th legendary. The perk relies on you going down and then gaining a second wind, so I wasn't too interested in it. But once we got our boost to our jetpack from the vault, we went through the red chests, and then we exited through the rift. There it is, level 50, folks, level 50.
Getting weaker.
Let's go. Man. A way to end it on a vault too, you know? That's nice, bro. So, I guess if you're watching the video, what now? The obvious answer is we're going to collect every single legendary in the game. Myself from the future, we're going to talk more about that. Ah, you heard the man. I might be level 50 now after about 50 hours of recording my playtime, but I'm still not done with Borderlands 4. As of right now, I genuinely want to get out there and get every legendary there is to get in this game. For Borderlands 4 gets its big expansion in the spring of I think 2026. I don't know exactly what it will take. I don't know how many hours, but what I do know is that I have a blast playing this game. So it will be just as fun to keep making videos on it. I want to get all the legendaries with that expansion, and any future ones will probably be adding more legendaries to the game. A guy like me doesn't want to be stuck on collecting the old stuff when the new stuff comes out. So I hope you'll join me on the upcoming grind to collect all Borderlands 4 legendaries. And if you enjoyed this video, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. It is completely free to subscribe on YouTube, unlike any other form of subscription on the internet, and to like the video if you liked it, and you could comment something that's on your mind down below. Doing all of those other things shows me support and tells YouTube to show my channel to other people, which in the end will allow me to make more videos more often. And even if you don't want to do any of that, I am still eternally grateful for anyone who watches, especially if you watched it this far. But with that, I do hope that I will see you all in the next one.